often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be when I'm reading the righteous scriptures and the Most High Yahweh? He sent His Holy Spirit to lead and guide me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? Can you envision? Oh, well, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you imagine a place where we can truly be free? Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? I just let my imagination run free. There will be no more Jim Crow, that's for sure. Where landed will no longer be. There will be no more strange fruit hanging from the popular tree. You know the first will be last, and the last shall be first. Can you picture that? The road of Esau and Jacob, Israel shall be reversed. Can you envision? Oh, I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you imagine coming at you with another live out of the shop. Brother Yagda Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. We'll be endeavoring to bring forth biblical, historical information from the Bible, from historical books and records. The name of the broadcast is Let Your Light Shine. Title of today's teaching will be The Feast of Purim, part number 7. The Feast of Purim, part number 7. Once more again, I'm Brother Yagda Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. The number is area code 331-312-4022. Once more again, for questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. The number is area code 331-312-4022. We can also be contacted by way of email. If you want to drop us a line, you could do that by way of our email. That email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. Once more again, that email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. And once more again, to the 12 tribes of Israel, they're scattered to the four corners of the globe. Yahweh be with you. Yahweh bless you. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. What's more, again, my brothers, we are, our slotted time for the broadcast is, we on Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then we come back Friday and do it all again from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then our Shabbat class, our Sabbath class, is on Saturday. And we begin approximately about 2 p.m., sometimes a little later, but nevertheless, we get in it, my brothers, my sisters, my peoples. And once again, I'd like to just inform the listener and audience that we can be seen by way of Facebook as well as YouTube. We are simultaneously recording on Facebook as well as YouTube. You can get to that YouTube page by going to YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. Our Facebook page you can get to by way of Rufus Wood, YHDHYSRAEL is the Facebook. That's how we get to the Facebook. And once more again, my brothers and sisters, we want to say shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. O most heavenly Father Yahweh, we come once more again to give thee thanks, give thee praise. Thanking thee for another day, O heavenly Father, another opportunity to do those things that are pleasing in your sight. Pray, Father, for your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, that we might be able to feed your sheep. Pray, Father, that you would just look upon the 12 tribes of Israel. All those that are calling on your righteous and precious name, those that are striving to keep your statutes, your laws, and your commandments. Pray, Father, that you will look upon the 12 tribes of Israel. Give them your wisdom, your strength. Give us your knowledge in these last and evil days, that we might be able to endure to the end. Pray also, Father, for the 12 tribes of Israel, those that have eyes, but they cannot see. They have ears, O Heavenly Father, but they cannot hear. Pray that you'd open up their eyes that they might see your truth. Unstop their ears, Father, that they may hear your word and say, this is the way, and walk therein. These things we pray in your precious Son's name and for his sake. Hallelujah. 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 And like always, my brothers, my sisters, first thing we do is present the name that we will be using. The name of the supreme deity is YHWH, the four letters, which we pronounce Yahweh. We will not be using the traditional names of Lord God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Baal, Eshrat, Moloch, Shammuz, but we will be using the four letters exclusively, which we pronounce Yahweh. That's how we pronounce it. My brothers, my sisters, my people. The significance of Yahweh's name. This is from the Topical Encyclopedia, and it reads, the name of Yahweh holds profound significance throughout the Bible, serving as a revelation of his character, authority, and relationship with his people. In the scriptures, names are not merely labels, but encapsulate the essence and identity of individuals. This is especially true for the name of Yahweh, which is to be treated with utmost reverence and awe. Let me see if I can grab me a second that emotion, my brothers. We want to second that. In the Wikipedia, this is entitled Tetragrammaton in the New Testament, and it reads, archaeologists have discovered papyrus fragments of works which were later included in the canon of the New Testament, dating as far back as the middle of the 2nd century. Of all 5,000 extinct manuscripts, none contain the Shemitic Hebrew, the Tetragrammaton, the Paleo-Hebrew, or Greek transliterations, for example, of the Shemitic Hebrew name. One of the most ancient fragments, the Papyrus Codex, designated Chester Petit Papyrus number 2, page 46, is dated prior to AD 2000, AD 200, my fault. It contains 9 of the Apostle Paul's letters in the Chester Petit Papyrus. We find KC and sometimes OC with a horizontal bar above them in citations of the Shemitic Hebrew Bible, where the Tetragrammaton occurred in the Shemitic Hebrew text. These are abbreviations for Kyrios, Lord, and Theos, God, normally known as Numena Sakra, or sacred name. The abbreviation may not have been part of the autograph, but may have been substituted as a shorthand sometime later. An alternative thesis has been advanced. The Yahweh, YHWH, would have been present in the New Testament autographs, only to be substituted by the Numena Sakra, or the Theos and Kyrios, or in later times, Lord, when it came into the English, Lord or God. An article by George Howard in the March 1978 issue of Biblical Archaeology Review set forth this thesis: that Yahweh, YHWH, appeared in the New Testament, and that the removal of the Tetragrammaton from the New Testament and replacement with the surrogates, Kyrios and Theos, blurred the original distinction between the Father and Yahweh, the Hamashiach, the Son. My brothers, my sisters, my people. And we're going to go grab us some biblical references to why we use the 4 letters exclusively. We want to bring forth biblical references why we use the 4 letters exclusively. In the book of Exodus 3, verse 13, it reads, And Moses said unto Yahweh, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, Yahweh of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? Go drop down to verse number 15, and it reads, the book of Exodus 3, verse 15. And Yahweh said, Moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the family of Israel, Yahweh of your fathers, Yahweh of Abraham, Yahweh of Isaac, Yahweh of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. So the name that was delivered to Moses, when he directly asks for the wisdom, my brothers, when I come into the children of Israel, they're going to want to know who you be. What's your name? He said, I'm Yahweh, YHWH. In other words, I'll be that I will be, my brothers, my sisters, my people. We want to peep at the book of Acts. We want to bring forth biblical evidence while we hold to the premise of using the four letters exclusively. In the book of Acts chapter 4, verse 7, it reads, When they had set them in the midst, they asked, By what power or by what name have you done this? So once more and again, they want to know about that name, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Now the Apostle Peter, he had an answer for those that required of him about the name of the Most High Yahweh, the four letters that was delivered to Moses in around the year 1446. So they the historical records say BC, when the children of Israel came up out of Mizraim, Egypt, the house of bondage. They was in the wilderness, my brothers. Acts chapter 4, verse 12. Neither there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. Now Peter, the Apostle Peter, walked with the Hamashiach 3.5 years or so. He was a pupil, a student of the Hamashiach. So if anyone understood about what name to get upon for salvation, the Apostle Peter truly understood. And he said there was no other name given, emphasizing that it ain't but one name, the same name that was delivered to Moses to give to the children of Israel. The four letters, YHWH. That is the only name you can get up under for salvation, according to the Apostle Peter. Now John, the Apostle John, came right behind him, my brothers, and let's see how John emphasized the name. In the book of St. John 20, verse 31, but these are written that you might believe that Yahweh, the Hamashiach, the anointed one, the Son of Yahweh the Father, and that believing you might have life through his name, my brother, my sisters. Don't let nobody ever say the name of the Most High, the one that was delivered to Moses, is not important. It's very important. We read in the article from the Topical Encyclopedia, it said that name is to be had in reverence and awe my brothers, my sisters, my people. The book of Joshua 23. So John and Peter, Apostle John, the Apostle Peter, both emphasize that if you want eternal life, if you want salvation, you got to have Yahweh's name all up in your brain, my brothers, my sisters. The book of Joshua, Oshia, the son of Nun, chapter 23, verse number 7 reads, that you come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their false deities, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor bow yourself unto them. So Oshia, Joshua, the son of Nun, he wrote that according to the inspiration of the Most High, that he don't want us to lean on any other deity. He don't want us to mention the name of these false deities, like Lord God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Baal, Ashtaroth, Moloch, Shammuz, my brothers. Nor serve them, neither serve them, nor bow yourself unto them. So you better watch yourself, if you are planning on enjoying what they call Sweetest Day, Valentine's Day. You might be worshiping a false deity unawares, my brothers. You better know what you associate yourself with in these last days, my brothers, my sisters. Anything contrary to Yahweh shouldn't be part of your lifestyle. We want to run to it. The book of Romans chapter 10, verse 13. Now, this is the Apostle Paul, and he's on record emphasizing salvation is up under the four-letter name as well, my brothers. We got three witnesses, great men, Apostle Peter, the Apostle John, and as they say, the Johnny come lately, Apostle Paul. But Paul said, I outwork them all. Hey, I put in work. My brothers, my sisters. Romans chapter 10, verse 13. Whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahweh shall be saved. Verse number 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher, teacher, someone to bring the information? And we read that the four letters, YHWH, was even removed from the so-called New Testament, my brothers. We got documentation saying so. The archaeologist is the one that says so, my brothers, my sisters, my people. But we'll run and grab the book of Exodus, because the Most High want us to emphasize his name. In the book of Exodus 9, verse 16, it reads, And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. So he wants his name declared. You know what that word declared means, right? Let me see. Let's look it up. We ain't going to play the guessing game. But I'm going to go and try to find a definition about this word called declared. We want to see if we can pull out a definition for the word called declared. All right, I'm back. Try something new that I almost messed up something. All right. Let me see if we can pull out something. Declared openly or formally asserted or announced. Hold on. I gotta get back now. My sister, man. Let me see. All right. 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 Let me get back. Let me get back. All right. Sounding back. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's get back to this article now. Where were we at? We was in the book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 16. And it reads, "And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in you my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth." So the Most High is on record saying he want his name declared. That means announced. It means you got to open up your mouth and say something. Ain't that right? He want his name declared from sea to sea, from city to city, state to state, country to country, nation to nation, from continent to continent, my brother. He want his name declared throughout all the earth. That's what he said to Moses. You go tell Pharaoh that I raised him up so that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. So who are we? And who was it that removed his name? I pity the fool. That's right. I pity the fool, my brothers, my sisters, my people. We're going to run and grab us one more, and then we're going to get ready to prep. You know how we do it. Going to get ready to prep for our clips. And then we're going to be right back at you on the other side. I don't know what I'm doing tonight. I'm messing up everything right here. But let's get one more biblical reference. Why we use the four letters YHWH, which we pronounce Yahweh. Why we use it exclusively, my brothers, my sisters. In the book of 1 Timothy 6, verse number 1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own master worthy of all honor, that the name of Yahweh and his doctrine be not blasphemed. So he want the name on deck and correct teaching, my brothers. He wanted both. You got to have both. That means two. The name and the teaching, my brothers, my sisters, my people. We're going to get ready to prep for our clips tonight. Hope you enjoy what we bring you forth.
As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation, ooh, it's so amazing. So marvelous, and I wanna thank you for giving me another day. I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace. As I open my eyes to another day, I see the sunrise, and I begin to say, ooh, Yahweh creation, ooh, it's so amazing, so marvelous. And I wanna thank you for giving me another day. Ooh, I wanna thank you. I wanna praise your name for giving me another chance. I wanna praise you. I wanna give you thanks for giving me your mercy and your grace.
I'm Judah. They call us African Americans today. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Benjamin. They call us West Indians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up
I'm
now.
Levi. They call us Haitians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Ephraim. They call us Puerto Ricans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Manasseh. They call us Cubans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Simeon. They call us Dominicans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Zebulon. They call us Hondurans and Guatemalans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Gad. They call us Native Americans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Reuben.
They call us Seminoles. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Asher. They call us Colombians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Issachar. They call us Mexicans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Naphtali. They call us Chileans and Argentinians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
Y'all think Jesus looked like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed man in your grandma's living room? Think biblical figures were European? Man, that's the biggest art fraud in history. I'm about to show you 10 photographs of ancient religious art that prove Europe systematically whitewashed the Bible. And these images are going to destroy everything you thought you knew. Welcome back to Black History in Photos. Hit subscribe, because we're exposing the lies they painted over. Photo number 10 shows a 6th century mosaic from Ravenna, Italy. This image from the Library of Congress archives shows Jesus Christ depicted with dark brown skin, black hair, and Middle Eastern features in the Basilica of Santa Pollinare Nuovo. Look at this mosaic, bruh. This is how early Christians depicted Jesus, as a brown-skinned Middle Eastern man, not the blonde European they show you now. The Library of Congress documents that early Christian art consistently showed biblical figures with darker skin tones, reflecting their actual geographic origins. Jesus was born in Bethlehem, raised in Nazareth, lived in the Middle East his entire life. He would have looked Middle Eastern, not European. But starting in the Renaissance, European artists began depicting him as white, and those images became the standard that was exported worldwide through colonization. But here's what's going to make you furious. This mosaic in Ravenna has been there for 1,500 years. It's not hidden. It's in a church that tourists visit. But somehow, this image never makes it into Sunday school books or religious education materials. They show you the white Jesus instead, even though the historical evidence proves that's a lie. Photo number 9 takes us to Ethiopian Christian manuscripts from the 12th century. This photograph from the British Library Archives shows illuminated manuscripts depicting the Holy Family as Black Africans with dark skin, African features, and traditional Ethiopian clothing. Look at these images, man. Ethiopian Christians have been depicting biblical figures as black for over 1,000 years because they understood that biblical events happened in Africa and the Middle East, not Europe. The British Library documents that Ethiopian Christianity is one of the oldest Christian traditions in the world, dating back to the 4th century when the Kingdom of Aksum converted to Christianity. Ethiopian Christians preserve their own artistic traditions, showing biblical figures as African. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church maintains that the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia, that the Queen of Sheba was Ethiopian, and that biblical history is intimately connected to African history. But here's the hypocrisy that's going to make you sick. European colonizers later tried to suppress these images, claiming they were inauthentic because they didn't match European depictions. British missionaries in the 19th century told Ethiopian Christians that their ancient religious art was wrong, that they needed to adopt European images of white Jesus. The audacity is astronomical. They tried to tell Africans that their 1,000-year-old Christian tradition was invalid because it didn't center whiteness. Photo number 8 shows Russian Orthodox icons from the 14th century. This image from the Kremlin Museum archives shows the Virgin Mary and baby Jesus depicted with dark brown skin and icons that were hidden in Russian church vaults for centuries. Look at these icons, bruh. This is what Putin was talking about in 2024 when he said Russia had been hiding the true images of biblical figures and that it was time to reveal them to the world. The Kremlin Museum documents that thousands of ancient Russian Orthodox icons showed biblical figures with darker skin tones. During the Renaissance, when European art began whitewashing religious imagery, many of these older icons were hidden away or painted over to match Western European standards. Russian churches literally painted white faces over the original darker faces in ancient icons to conform to Western expectations. In March 2024, Putin ordered Russian museums and churches to display these ancient icons publicly, revealing that even Russian Christianity originally depicted biblical figures as non-European. This caused controversy in the West because it challenged the narrative that Christianity has always been depicted as white. Putin said in a speech, "We have hidden the truth about the appearance of Christ and the Holy Family for too long to appease Western sensibilities. It is time Russians see the icons our ancestors actually painted." Photo number 7 takes us to Coptic Christian art from Egypt in the 8th century. This photograph from the Coptic Museum in Cairo archives shows frescoes depicting Jesus, Mary, and the apostles with brown skin and African features in the monastery of St. Anthony. Look at this ancient art, man. Egyptian Christians, who lived closer to where biblical events actually happened, depicted these figures as they would have actually looked, as Middle Eastern and North African people. The Coptic Museum documents that Egyptian Christian art consistently showed biblical figures with darker skin tones for over 1,000 years. Coptic Christianity dates back to the 1st century, when St. Mark brought Christianity to Egypt. For centuries, Coptic art maintained depictions of biblical figures that reflected their actual appearance. But when European colonizers arrived in Egypt in the 19th century, they claimed these depictions were primitive or inaccurate because they didn't match European artistic standards. British archaeologists literally told Africans that their depictions of people who lived in Africa and the Middle East were wrong because they weren't white enough. They removed Coptic frescoes from ancient churches and replaced them with European-style paintings. They told Egyptian Christians that their ancient tradition was inferior to European Christianity. This was cultural imperialism disguised as religious education. Photo number 6 shows a comparison of Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel paintings from 1512. This image from the Vatican archives shows Michelangelo's famous depiction of God, Adam, and biblical figures as muscular white Europeans, with European features painted on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Look at this painting, bruh. This is the image that became the standard for how the world pictures biblical figures, and it's completely historically inaccurate. The Vatican archives document that Michelangelo used Italian models for his biblical figures, painting them as Renaissance Europeans rather than Middle Eastern people. The creation of Adam shows God as an old white man with a white beard reaching out to touch a white Adam. This wasn't about artistic license. This was about making Christianity appear European to justify European dominance and the doctrine of white supremacy that was emerging during the colonial period. When these images spread through prints and reproductions over the following centuries, they replaced older, more accurate depictions of biblical figures as Middle Eastern and African people. The Sistine Chapel became the most famous religious art in the world, and its whitewashed images became the default visualization of biblical stories for billions of people. That's cultural appropriation on a global scale. Photo number 5 takes us to Byzantine mosaics from the 11th century in Greece. This photograph from the Byzantine Museum archives shows Christ Pantocrator depicted with olive brown skin, dark eyes, and Middle Eastern features in the Daphne Monastery near Athens. Look at this mosaic, man. Byzantine artists, who lived closer to the biblical lands and time period, depicted Jesus as he would have actually appeared, as a brown-skinned Middle Eastern man. The Byzantine Museum documents that Byzantine Christian art maintained more historically accurate depictions of biblical figures for centuries longer than Western European art. The Byzantine Empire, centered in Constantinople, was geographically and culturally closer to the Middle East than Western Europe. Byzantine artists had more contact with Middle Eastern populations and maintained artistic traditions that reflected that proximity. But as Western European Christianity became dominant through colonization and cultural imperialism, these Byzantine images were marginalized and replaced with whitewashed European versions. When the Ottoman Empire conquered Constantinople in 1453, many Byzantine religious artworks were destroyed or hidden. Western European powers later claimed that their whitewashed versions were the authentic Christian tradition, erasing the Byzantine artistic legacy. Photo number 4 shows Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper from 1498. This image from the Santa Maria delle Grazie archives in Milan shows Jesus and all 12 apostles depicted as white Europeans sitting at a Renaissance-era Italian table, eating Italian food. Look at this scene, bruh. These are supposed to be Jewish men from 1st century Palestine eating a Passover meal, but they look like they're at a dinner party in Renaissance Italy. The Santa Maria archives document that Da Vinci used Italian models for all the figures in the Last Supper. He painted them in Italian clothing, sitting at an Italian table, in an Italian architectural setting. This painting became one of the most reproduced religious images in history, cementing the image of white Jesus and white apostles in global consciousness. It's been copied, printed, and distributed billions of times over 5 centuries. But here's the hypocrisy that should make you furious. These were Jewish men from the Middle East. They would have had brown skin, dark hair, and Middle Eastern features. They would have been eating Middle Eastern food, sitting on the floor, or reclining on cushions, as was the custom, in a Middle Eastern architectural setting. Da Vinci's painting is historical fiction presented as religious truth, and it's been used to justify white supremacy for 500 years. Photo number 3 takes us to a photograph of Pope Alexander VI's son, Cesare Borgia, from the late 1400s. This image from the Vatican secret archives shows Cesare Borgia, a white Italian nobleman with long flowing hair and a beard, looking like the stereotypical image of Jesus that appears in churches worldwide. Look at this man, bruh. According to historical documentation, Pope Alexander commissioned artists to use his son Cesare as the model for Jesus in religious paintings. The Vatican archives document that Pope Alexander VI, who served from 1492 to 1503, wanted to consolidate power by making Christianity appear more European. He commissioned Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and other Renaissance artists to paint Jesus in the image of his son Cesare Borgia. This is why the modern image of Jesus, the one you see in churches, homes, and religious materials worldwide, looks like a white European man with long hair and a beard. It's literally based on an Italian nobleman, not a Middle Eastern Jewish carpenter. This wasn't just artistic preference. This was political propaganda. By making Jesus look like a member of the European nobility, the Pope was sending a message that Christianity belonged to European elites, that God favored white Europeans, and that European dominance was divinely ordained. This image was then exported worldwide through colonization, used to justify the enslavement of Africans and the genocide of indigenous peoples. Photo number 2 shows archaeological reconstructions based on 1st century Jewish skulls from the region of Galilee. This image from the BBC documentary archives shows a forensic reconstruction of what a typical Jewish man from Jesus' time and place would have looked like, with dark brown skin, short dark curly hair, a broad nose, and Middle Eastern features. Look at this reconstruction, man. This is what Jesus actually would have looked like based on science and archaeology, and he looks nothing like the European paintings. The BBC archives document that forensic anthropologist Richard Neve created this reconstruction in 2001 using skulls from the time period and region where Jesus lived. The reconstruction shows a man who looks nothing like European depictions. He has dark olive brown skin, dark eyes, short curly hair, and a stocky build typical of working class men in that region who performed manual labor. His face is broad with Middle Eastern features common to Semitic populations. This reconstruction is based on scientific evidence, archaeological data, and historical knowledge about the appearance of 1st century Jewish populations in Galilee. It's as close as we can get to knowing what Jesus actually looked like. And yet, this image is rarely shown in churches or religious education materials because it contradicts 500 years of European propaganda depicting Jesus as white. And our number 1 photograph shows a side-by-side comparison from the Smithsonian Institution archives. On the left, a 6th century mosaic showing Jesus with brown skin and Middle Eastern features. On the right, a 16th century European painting showing Jesus as a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes. Look at this comparison, bruh. This is 1,500 years of artistic whitewashing captured in 2 images. This is visual proof of cultural appropriation and historical revisionism. The Smithsonian documents that this transformation happened deliberately during the Renaissance and colonial periods. As European powers colonized Africa, Asia, and the Americas, they used whitewashed religious imagery to justify their dominance. They claimed that Christianity was a white European religion, that God favored white people, that Jesus was white, and therefore white people had a divine right to rule over non-white populations. These lies were used to justify slavery, colonization, and genocide on a scale never seen before in human history. But here's what's powerful and what they don't want you to know. Despite centuries of whitewashing, the original images survived. Ethiopian Christians preserved their black biblical art in ancient monasteries. Russian Orthodox churches hid their darker icons in vaults. Coptic Christians in Egypt maintained their African depictions despite persecution. Byzantine mosaics remained in ancient churches. The truth survived because people understood that these images mattered, that they represented historical reality, and that they needed to be preserved for future generations. So there you have it. 10 photographs proving that Europe systematically whitewashed biblical history, turning Middle Eastern and African figures into white Europeans to justify colonization and white supremacy. These images destroy the lie that biblical figures were white and expose the deliberate cultural appropriation that happened during the Renaissance and colonial periods. The next time someone shows you a picture of white Jesus, show them these photographs. The next time someone claims Christianity is a white European religion, remind them it started in the Middle East and North Africa, that the first Christians were Middle Eastern and African, that the Bible describes Jesus with features that don't match European depictions. The next time someone uses religion to justify white supremacy, show them the receipts that prove biblical figures weren't white. Revelation 1 verse 14 and 15 says, "The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters." The Bible itself describes Jesus with features that don't match European depictions. Bronze feet glowing in a furnace, hair like wool. These are not descriptions of a white European man. These are descriptions of a Middle Eastern or African man. Don't you ever let them use whitewashed religious imagery to make you feel inferior or to justify oppression. The Bible happened in Africa and the Middle East, not Europe. Biblical figures look like us, not like them. And they know it. That's why they had to paint over the truth. That's why they had to destroy the original images. That's why they had to create 500 years of propaganda depicting Jesus as white. This is Vintage Black America. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and share this truth. Peace.
It's important that as we live out our days, we grow in knowledge. It's always a mistake to partake in customs and celebrations that we do not know the history of. Embracing traditions that we do not know the history of can often lead us in celebrating false deities and make us out to be hypocrites to what we truly believe. Knowledge is power, and regardless of what you choose to do, whether you decide to take part in certain customs and traditions is your choice. My purpose in these subjects is to fill the gap where our education system seems to drop the ball. I will give you the background history of traditions that many of us blindly accept without really understanding. One of these traditions is Valentine's Day. For most people today, Valentine's Day is just regarded as a secular, commercial day of love. A date where people show their significant other that they love them, because someone else did a long time ago, and it just grew in acceptance over time. Basically, because days like Valentine's Day just show up on our calendar and the retail big businesses start marketing to us, we just accept this day and look at it as harmless and partake in it. I mean, Valentine's Day is a huge day for business. It is estimated that in America alone, the country as a whole spends an average of $18.5 billion on Valentine's Day every year. But if you ask people why, you would most likely receive silence as an answer. Everyone knows that we celebrate love on Valentine's Day, but most people don't know exactly why we do and why it's even called Valentine's Day. So I think that's something that we should correct. Let's examine it. Let's begin. So where did Valentine's Day come from? Many people think that it's just one of those American holidays that we just partake in. It's just something that we as Americans do. But the celebration of Valentine's Day is not American. Others like to believe that it is a Christian holiday because it was named after a Christian saint by the Roman Catholic Church. But the truth is that Valentine's Day was made by the Roman Catholic Church to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia. Lupercalia was one of the most ancient Roman festivals, which was celebrated every year in honor of Lupercus, the god of fertility, also known as the god Faunus. This festival, which celebrated the coming of spring, included fertility rites, orgies, fornication, sex with minors, drunkenness, and other activities like the pairing off of women with men by lottery. Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, as well as to the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus. During this time, the winter solstice is long gone, and the pagans are now seeing that the days are getting gradually longer. This was one of the most important fertility festivals for pagans. The festival was held on the 15th of February in the Lupercal, where Romulus and Remus were said to have been nurtured by the she-wolf. The place contained an altar and a grove sacred to the god Lupercus. In Lupercal, the Luperci, who were the priests, assembled on the day of Lupercalia and sacrificed goats and dogs. These animals were known for their strong sexual instinct, making them most appropriate sacrifices to the god of fertility. Then the Luperci cut thongs from the skins of the sacrificial animals and ran in two bands around the Palatine Hill. They would whip any women who came near them. A blow from the thong was supposed to make a woman fertile. It's said that young women would actually line up for the men to hit them. Now, if you just dig a little deeper, you can understand further what is being celebrated. Lupercalia is believed to be connected to the ancient Greek festival of Arcadian Lycaea and the worship of Pan. Lupercalia is the Roman form of worship of the Greek god Pan. Pan can be traced to the sun god Baal. He is the horned god. And we know Baal is none other than Nimrod. Nimrod was the original Lupercus. The Lupercalia, the festival of the Romans held during the time we know today as Valentine's Day, was a festival to honor Nimrod, just in this Roman form. This is paganism. In ancient pagan Rome, the month of February was sacred to Juno Februata, the goddess of the fever of love. Juno Februata was also the goddess of women and of marriage. February 14th was her festival day. A box was provided from which single men could draw a billet, a small piece of paper on which a woman's name was written. The couple would then form a temporary liaison for the erotic games to follow. Sometimes they would remain partners for the following 12 months. Marriage sometimes resulted from this practice. So these days were used to celebrate fertility in ancient pagan Rome. It was a pagan festival day that goes back to the honoring of Nimrod. This was what happened during this time in ancient history. So where did the name Valentine's Day come from? Valentine's Day is said to be named after a few Christian martyrs who the Roman Catholic Church named saints. According to one story, Roman Emperor Claudius II imposed a ban on marriages because too many young men were dodging the draft by getting married. At that time, only single men had to enter the army. There was a Roman physician and priest who had converted to Christianity when it was a persecuted religion. His name was Valentinus of Terni, and according to some of the stories, he used to marry Christian couples in secret. It was said he wore a ring with a cupid on it, which is used as a symbol of love. We'll cover that soon. The ring helped soldiers recognize him. When he was exposed, he was imprisoned, tortured, and beheaded. Later, he became a martyr and the patron saint of true love in marriages. While awaiting execution, he was visited by young lovers with notes about how much better love is than war. Some think of these love letters as the first Valentines. Valentinus' execution occurred on February 14th in the year 269. Later on, after Rome adopted Christianity and the Roman Empire fell, and the Holy Roman Empire began, the Roman Catholic Church made changes. The church was opposed to this display of open eroticism and sensuality that occurred during Lupercalia. In the 5th century, Pope Gelasius declared February 14th a holy day in honor of Valentinus, instead of the pagan god Lupercus. As with most non-biblical customs found in the church today, Lupercalia was simply given a Christian-sounding name and adopted into the Universal Catholic Church. They adopted some of the pagan celebrations during Lupercalia to reflect Christian beliefs. For example, as part of the Juno Feberata ritual, instead of pulling girls' names from boxes, both boys and girls chose the names of martyred saints from a box. They were expected to emulate the life of the saint whose name they had drawn. And this is where we get Valentine's Day from. It was a rebranding of a pagan festival worshiping fertility. They did this to make it easy on the pagan converts who were coming into their new popular Christianity. These pagans were unwilling to give up their satanic pagan rituals. So instead of putting a halt to the growing paganism of the church, the Romans took the approach of blend and incorporate. But changing the name of a pagan ritual doesn't change the fact that it is still a pagan ritual. So this is where Valentine's Day comes from. It is completely pagan. During the Middle Ages, it began to be incorporated with love. And that's where much of what we know of it today comes from. But let's look at some of the symbols that are used today with Valentine's Day. The red rose. You think this flower was just chosen because it is beautiful? Not at all. Venus was the Roman goddess of beauty, love, fertility, and sexual immorality, such as prostitution. She was the Roman equivalent to the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Venus is the mother of Cupid. Her favorite flower was the red rose, which then associated the red rose with love. Because Valentine's Day became associated with love, in honor of the pagan goddess Venus, or Aphrodite, the goddess of love, red roses became synonymous with Valentine's Day. Just remember, if you look up most customs of today, you will often find a pagan god in connection with it. Does this mean it's pagan to love a red rose? Obviously not, but you should know why it is connected with Valentine's Day. Buying red roses for your loved one does not make you a pagan. I want to make that clear. Cupid. Most people don't know this because he's often portrayed as a little baby boy. But Cupid is a pagan god. Like I said earlier, his mother was the goddess Venus. He is a counterpart of the Greek god Eros. According to the myth, Cupid was the son of Mercury and Venus. Mercury being the winged messenger of the gods, and Venus the goddess of love and beauty. Cupid often appeared as a winged infant carrying a bow and a quiver of arrows. Legend has it that Cupid shoots magical gold-tipped arrows at both gods and humans. By piercing their heart with an arrow, he causes individuals to fall deeply in love. This is why you always see a heart with an arrow. It's a representation of the pagan god Cupid. He is portrayed today as a little cute, chubby cherub with a bow and arrow, ready to shoot people and affect them with pangs of love. But he is an ancient pagan god. He is not just a little cute baby with an arrow. When you reference anything with him, you are participating in pagan beliefs. This is why he is associated with Valentine's Day, because it is a pagan holiday. Now, just the lustful nature of Valentine's Day as a whole is according to the pagan ritual of fertility. This is the time where people would gather their lovers for the year. This is not a day to get caught up in. Everything surrounding this day is pagan. It was then rebranded as a Christian holiday, and today it is looked at as secular, but it is not so. Anytime you have holidays that are connected with pagan gods, if you're a believer in Yahshua, you must completely abstain from them. Today, it is marketed as a day of love, but it is completely, again, a pagan holiday. Many of its customs and practices have changed and evolved over time. But at the heart, it's all about pagans and their gods, a way of celebrating them. It goes back to Nimrod. It's very easy to get lost in the crowd and just partake in it, because that's what the majority is doing. Because they make it seem as if it's secular and does not have any deity attached to it. It's just about love and fun. But a simple understanding of Cupid clearly shows that that's not true. For a believer in Yahshua, we are called to be set apart from the world, not following the crowd. We are not to be of this world. Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 2 says, "Do not learn the way of the Gentiles. We are to learn the ways of our Father." We should not follow pagan activities just because the world makes it easier for us to do so. The Apostle Paul tells us in Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, "See to it that no one makes a prey of you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the elementary matters of the world, and not according to Messiah." We must protect ourselves from the ways of this world. Valentine's Day is not a major day, but it still is a pagan holiday. It's easy to overlook. Listen, if you want to set aside a day to tell your husband or wife that you love them, pick another day and time to do this. You do not need to celebrate with the world. If the world tells you that February 14th is the day you are required to show your wife or your husband how you love them, make sure you don't. Remember, you are not of this world. It is a pagan holiday, and as we are all trying to strengthen our relationship with the Father, when we remove our association with these practices, we will see our relationships grow. I made this video to briefly clear it up for those that were not really sure about Valentine's Day. I want you to clearly know it is rooted in paganism, and as believers, we must remove ourselves from these pagan traditions. John chapter 8, verse 32 says, "And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." You now know truth about the day. Nothing really exciting in it, except that it's proven that the day was born from worshiping pagan gods. Be set apart from this world and be transformed. Love who you love every day. Live your life more through conviction of the Holy Spirit rather than living through conformity to the ways and traditions of this world. I speak about not being of this world often. I have a link to the verses on my website. I made a video about it as well. Learn more about being set apart and not being of this world. Nothing is harmless. Beware of these traditions of men. Being a follower of the Messiah is being set apart. So please, set yourself apart today. Okay, thanks again for watching. If this has blessed you, please make sure to like it and share it. If you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I upload every Friday. Don't forget to follow this ministry on Facebook and Instagram. As always, I'd like to send a special thank you to all who donate and support this ministry. Your gifts are extremely a blessing, and I'm very thankful for you sowing into this ministry.
All right, we back. What's one again? I'm Brother Yakda Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That phone number is area code 331-312-4022. Once one again. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That phone number is area code 331-312-4022. We can also be contacted by way of email. That email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. My brothers, my sisters, once again, for questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. That phone number is area code. My phone. I'm trying to pull up some information here so I can read it concerning this Valentine's Day that you, many, let me put it that way, are associating themselves with. We want to bring forth truth. That's what our mission is, to present the truth, my brothers, to the best of our ability. For questions or comments, you can also drop us a line by way of email. That email address is YHDHYSRAEL@gmail.com. My brothers, my sisters, I want to read a couple of articles concerning this day they call Valentine's Day. This article reads, Valentine's Day, associated with romance, has roots in the violent Roman festival of Lupercalia, which involves whipping women with animal hides to promote fertility. Additionally, the popular narrative of St. Valentine marrying soldiers in defiance of Emperor Claudius II is largely considered a legend, as no such marriage banned in historical documents. Valentine or origins. The holiday is believed to be rooted in Lupercalia, a Roman festival celebrated from February the 13th to the 15th, which was associated with purification, fertility, and rites involving animal sacrifice and ritual whipping. Fabricated legends. The popular story that St. Valentine defied a ban by Emperor Claudius II to marry soldiers is not historically accurate. Cultural controversy. In some regions, like India, the celebration of Valentine's Day has faced significant backlash, and in some cases has led to controversies regarding public display of affection. Commercial exploitation. Modern Valentine's Day is often criticized for being overly commercialized, placing intense pressure on individuals to spend money to prove their love. The day, while often romanticized, is built on a mixture of ancient pagan rituals and embellished legends, my brothers. There you have it. I got one more article I want to present before we get back to the scriptures. Once again, the title of the lesson today is The Feast of Purim, part number 7. Let me see if I can quickly pull up the time limit that we have before we reach that great day of the Feast of Purim. Let me see if I can check the calendar. So the Feast of Purim will be the 14th and the 15th day of the 12th month, which is called Adar, which fall around the month of what we know as March. So we got 2 more weeks in what they call February, and it will fall on a Friday evening. So it's about 3 or 4 weeks away. So the Friday evening we jump off the Feast of Purim, and then we come back what they call Saturday on the 14th, which will be, according to the Most High Yahweh, the 15th day at evening. And we do it all again. We have the feast called the Feast of Purim. So we got about 4 weeks from today. It would be, let me see, 1, 2, about 3 weeks, 4 weeks from today will be the 14th of Adar, and it will fall in the evening. Let's peep at that. Let's go to the scriptures now. We're going to open up in the book of Luke. The book of Luke, chapter 12. Verse number 12 reads, For the righteous spirit shall teach you in the same hour what you ought to say. And we believe that, my brothers. My sisters, we believe that the righteous spirit has been assigned to bring forth wisdom and understanding to those of the 12 tribes of Israel that striving to keep the statute laws and commandments of the Most High Yahweh. Let's peep at this thing right quick. Going right to the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 15, and it reads, And it came to pass when I, even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, Then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. Verse number 16, and it reads, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uli, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So it's Yahweh's desire to give us of his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, my brothers. But we got to seek him while he may be found. We can't sit on our hands and do nothing. We got to study to show ourselves approved unto the Most High, a workwoman that needeth not to be ashamed. My brothers, we got a role to play. We got to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling. We're going to run to the book of St. John. St. John chapter 16. We want to peep at verse number 13, and it reads, howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. So we find out this Spirit of truth is identified as a he. And we read in Daniel 8:15 that Gabriel was sent, right, to make this man understand the vision. Let's look at this thing, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Now, how is this righteous spirit given? How is he assigned? And who is he assigned to? In the book of Hebrews chapter 1, verse 7. And of the angel he said, who maketh his angels spirit. So sometimes when you see this word spirit, it is in conjunction to the word called angel. Angel and spirit in this case is one and the same. Now let's see these righteous minister spirits. How was they? Let me get this right. What was their assignment? What was their job? What was they given, created to do? In the book of Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. Are they not all minister spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation? Now that's plain as can be, right? So these minister spirit, righteous minister spirit, are sent forth to minister to those who are heirs of salvation. Now let's peep at this thing for a minute. I want to run to the book of Jubilee, my brothers. I want to see if I can pull out a statement in the book of Jubilee. We want to look at Jubilee, and we want to peep at chapter 15, verse 29. We're going to pick it up at verse 29. Let's peep at a few things while we are endeavoring to bring forth biblical and historical information, my brothers. I want to look at the book of Jubilee, and we want to peep at chapter number 15, and we want to pick it up at verse number 29. Book of Jubilee, chapter 15. We want to start reading at verse number 29, and it reads, Book of Jubilee 15, verse 29. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among the children of Israel. Verse number 30, and it reads, Book of Jubilee, chapter 15, verse 30 reads, For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yahweh did not cause them to come to him. He did not choose them, although they are the children of Abraham. He knew them, but he chose Israel to be his people. So he didn't choose Ishmael, Mr. Arab man, Mr. Christian man, Esau, so-called white man, woman, boy, and girl. He did not choose Mr. Esau. He chose Israel to be his people. Now let's see how the Most High dealt with the circumstances and the situation of his choice. Verse 31, he sanctified them and gathered them from among all the children of men, for there are many nations and many people, and all are his, and over all nations he had placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. So what kind of spirit will lead you astray from the Most High Yahweh? Unclean spirits. In other words, demons. In other words, devils. My brothers, my sisters. So Yahweh placed spirits over the other nations, but their job was to keep them away from him. And the one that take care of that business is Satan, the devil, right? Verse 32, but over Israel he did not appoint any messenger or spirit, for he alone is their ruler, and he will preserve them, require them at the hands of his messengers and his spirits, and at the hand of all his peoples, in order that he may preserve them and bless them, that they may be his, and he may be theirs from now and forever. My brothers, my sisters. So the only one that Yahweh chose to approach unto him was the children of Israel. My brothers, my sisters. But amongst the children of Israel, there are set requirements. We want to peep at it. In Acts 5, verse 32, it reads, and we are his witnesses of these things, and so is the righteous spirit, whom Yahweh hath given to them that obey him. So in order to receive these righteous spirits, you got to be one that obey the Most High Yahweh. And how do you obey him to receive this understanding? Let's see if we can pull it out. We want to write to Psalms 111, verse 10, and it reads, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. So to obey him means you do what he commanded you to do. My brother, what he commanded us to do, that's what we must do, my brothers. The fear of Yahweh, if we want the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from on high. In other words, or as we receive what these spirits that was created to keep the other 17 nations away from him. You know, they get to us too if we don't keep our head right. You got to do more than pray. You got to be obedient to Yahweh's statute laws, his commandments. You got to study his word. Now let's see if we can pull out a statement from the book of Hosea, Joshua. We're going to peep out a statement about our study pattern, right? Go right to Hosea, Joshua chapter 1. We're going to peep right at verse number 8, and it reads, but Hosea, Joshua chapter 1, the son of Nun. Chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. So my brothers, my sisters, you gotta be vigilant in the things of the Most High Yahweh, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. My brothers, my sisters, we always use this word called prosperous to indicate financial gain. But let me just put something on your mind right quick. What you say is prosperous. If you had peace of mind, my brothers, my sisters, in these crucial times, in these wicked times, will you say in order to maintain peace of mind, would that be prosperous, my brothers, my sisters? A mind that is focused in on the things of Yahweh, do you think that will be prosperous, my brother? Would it lead you to eternal life? Would that be prosperous? So we use this word prosperous, and we only see it in one light, financially, my brothers. But what would you give in exchange for your life? Ain't nothing you can give for exchange for your life, is it? What about your peace of mind, my brothers, my sisters? How much would you pay? You got people going to the so-called psychiatrists, right? Spending hundreds and thousands of dollars trying to find peace of mind, my brothers, my sisters, my people. So Yahweh say we are to meditate in his law, the book of the law, day and night. That means it's a ever going on situation. You always got to put time in the word of the Most High Yahweh. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Now we want to jump into this lesson a little bit. We're going to lay the foundation, and we're going to clear up some things tomorrow. But we want to just lay the foundation of how we honor the Most High's high days. We want to run to Surah right quick. Let me see if I can get me some Surah. Where you at? Surah on the table. We want to look at Surah, Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha, 33. And we want to pick it up at verse number 7. The book of Surah, Ecclesiasticus 33. We want to peep at verse number 7. And it reads, why do one day excel another, when there's all the light of every day, and the year is of the sun? Verse number 8. By the knowledge of Yahweh they were distinguished, and he authored seasons and feasts. We're going to hold that right there. We want to run to the book of Exodus. What do people at Exodus chapter 13, verse number 10? Exodus chapter 13. And we want to look at verse number 10. Book of Exodus 13. And we want to peep at verse number 10. And it reads, Exodus 13, verse 10 reads, thou shalt therefore keep this ordinance in its season from year to year. So Yahweh have high days, feast days that come in certain season. And the season of the feast of Purim is in the month of Adar. Adar is still coming to the time of the spring, my brothers. That would be the season, coming into the spring season, right before Passover, we will celebrate the Feast of Purim in its season, my brothers. We're going to go back to the book of Exodus. Where we were at? Where were we at now? Where were we headed? I have no clue. But where were we at now? I done lost my train. Oh, yeah, Sirach. Ecclesiasticus, book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse number 8. By the knowledge of Yahweh, they were distinguished, and he authored seasons and feasts. So you have certain feasts that falls in certain seasons, certain times of the year. And the Feast of Purim falls in the month of Adar, which according to the Shemitic Hebrew calendar will be the 12th month. But according to the calendar that we see on our wall, the Gregorian calendar, it would be what we know as the month called March, my brothers, my sisters, right before the month Abib, which is the first month of the year, which is equivalent. Let's get that information on the table. So we want to find out about this month called Abib, my brothers, my sisters, my people. The first month of the year. Even a child knows that January is the first month of our calendar year. For the ancient people of Israel, however, the first month of the year was the month of Abib, which roughly equates to our month of April. So April would be the first month of the Shemitic Hebrew calendar, according to the Most High Yahweh. Let's go grab us a scripture. We're going to come back to this Ecclesiasticus. But we want to look at the book of Exodus chapter 12, verse number 1. We want to find out what month that the Most High declared would be the first month of the year. In the book of Exodus 12, verse 1, it reads, Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, Mizraim, saying, verse 2, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Let's get a name on this first month as they was coming up out of the land of Egypt, Mizraim. In the book of Exodus 13, verse number 4, what is the name of the month that the Most High say is the first month of the year to the 12 tribes of Israel? Exodus 13, verse 4, this day came you out in the month Abib. So this is why we say we are endeavoring to bring forth historical and biblical information from the Bible and from historical books and records. So according to the book of Exodus 13:4, the first month of the year would be the month called Abib. We read, my brothers and sisters, that Abib is equivalent to what we know as April, the first month of the year. So the 12th month would just by natural denomination, how you say it, natural reasoning. Let me put it that way. Let me not get too sophisticated around here. By natural reason, if the first month is April, according to your Gregorian calendar, the 12th month would have to be what they call March, my brothers. So March is equivalent to the month they call Adar in the Shemitic Hebrew calendar. So we got some information concerning the month Adar. And it reads, let me see. What the Bible says about the month Adar, A-D-A-R. In the Bible, the month of Adar is the 12th month of the Israelite Shemitic calendar and is associated with joy and celebration, particularly because of the festival of Purim, which commemorates the deliverance of Yagda Judah, the Israelite people, from a plot to destroy them in the days of Esther. Adar is also noted for its emphasis on happiness and the motto, when Adar rise, joy is increased, my brothers. So the month that we will have the Feast of Purim is the 12th month. Now we reason that the first month is April, according to the Gregorian calendar. So the 12th month would have to be the month before. And the month before April is called, on the Gregorian calendar, March. That would be the 12th month of the year according to the Shemitic Hebrew calendar. My brothers, my sisters, my people. So let's peep at this thing right quick. Let's look at a few biblical statements about how we celebrate Yahweh's high days. Let's go back to that Surah, Ecclesiasticus chapter, where you at? Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse number 8, and it reads, by the knowledge of Yahweh they were distinguished, and he offered seasons and feasts. Verse number 9, some of them have he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them have he made ordinary days. So let's see how this Feast of Purim came into flourishing. We want to run to the book of Esther, the edition of Esther in the Apocrypha. We're going to run to the edition of Esther. We want to read some information from the edition of Esther in the Apocrypha. And it reads, the addition to Esther. We want to look at chapter 10, verse number 4. In actuality, it doesn't have a verse 1 there, but verse number 4. Let's get down to it. Let's see how the Feast of Purim came into play, my brothers, my sisters, my peoples. In the book of Addition to Esther, chapter 10, verse 4. Then Mordecai said, Yahweh have done these things. Verse number 5. For I remember a dream which I saw concerning these matters, and nothing thereof hath failed. Verse number 6. So Mordecai said he was recalling a dream that he had, and he seen the dream becoming reality. My brother, everything in the dream came to pass according to Mordecai. Verse number 6. A little fountain became a river, and there was light, and the sun and much water. This river is Esther, whom the king married and made queen. So Esther was the niece, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, of Mordecai, who he kind of took as his daughter because her parents was deceased. Let's look at verse number 7. My brothers, my sisters, and the two dragons are I and Haman. This would be in the regular KJV, it would be an H-A-M-A-N, Haman. Let's get a line on this guy called Haman right quick. My brothers, my sisters, let's see if we can peep at this guy called Haman. We're going to go to the regular book of Esther, in the regular book, chapter 3. And we're going to pick it up at verse number 1. Esther in the regular KJV, chapter 3, and verse number 1 reads, After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman. Now this guy Haman is the same as Haman in the Apocrypha, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagites. Now the Agagites come through the bloodline of the Amalekites. The Amalekites are the grandsons of Esau. Esau will be known today as the so-called white man, woman, boy, and girl. This is the bloodline that Haman, and you will read later on where he is called the same, he come from the same bloodline as Alexander and Philip, my brothers. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, from the bloodline of Esau, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. Verse number 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Verse number 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandments? Verse 4. Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand. For he had told them that he was of Yokdah, Judah. He was from the southern kingdom, but Mordecai and Esther was from the tribe of Benjamin. My brothers, my sisters, the 12th son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. Benjamin was the youngest son of Jacob. Verse number 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. Verse 6. Let's see what the outcome was. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all Yokdah, Judah, that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. Verse number 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan. Now Nisan is the same as Abib. Now they received this name coming up out of the Babylonian captivity. They began to refer to the first month as Nisan. But according to the Shemitic Hebrew, the word would be Abib, the first month of the year. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur, that is the lot, before Haman, from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. Once more again, my brothers, my sisters, the month Adar is the 12th month according to the Shemitic Hebrew calendar. It would be the month on the Gregorian calendar that they call March. That would be the 12th month according to the Most High Yahweh. Verse number 8. The book of Esther in the regular KJV, the regular Bible. Esther chapter 3, verse 8. And it reads, And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So this, let me just bring this up to today's time. You got certain people in Babylon, right? While the majority is out trying to buy some flowers and candy, they are in worship of the Most High Yahweh. They saying they are not partaking in such a pagan event, my brothers, in Babylon. So this is the same type of setting that's going on amongst these Yagda Judites in the kingdom of the Medes and the Persians. Now this is in the time frame of around 483 BC to the time of about 473 BC, my brothers, my sisters. Now we know that the decree by Cyrus took place in 539 BC. So they are still in captivity in portions of the kingdom of the Medes and the Persians. In 483 BC, this is the setting for this event surrounding Mordecai and Esther that brought about why we celebrate this feast called Purim. Let's go back to that book of Esther. The addition to Esther chapter 10, now verse 7. So we got the players on the table. We got Haman. Haman is of the bloodline of Esau, so-called white man, woman, boy, and girl. And Mordecai is from the tribe of Benjamin. He's up under the nation of Judah, southern kingdom. And the two dragons are I and Haman. So it's always been conflict between so-called white man and so-called black man. My brothers, my sisters, this ain't nothing new. They were struggling from the womb. It's time to get aware of what's going on the planet Earth, my brothers. This conflict is going to go right down to the wire. The addition to Esther 10, verse number 8. And the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of Yagda Judah. So this guy Haman that came up with a plot to wipe them all out, my brothers, not knowing that some of them had already returned back to the land of Yagda Judah, southern kingdom. By this time, those that was in Babylon, Cyrus gave them leave to return to rebuild the city and the temple. My brothers, my sisters, verse number 9, and it reads, the addition to Esther 10, verse 9, and my nation is this Israel, which cried to Yahweh and were saved. For Yahweh hath saved his people, and Yahweh delivered us from all those evils. Now Mordecai is rehearsing the righteous act. He's presenting this dream that he had, and he's seeing it coming to fruition step by step, my brothers. He's seeing that the end of this thing, that the Yagda Judah, the Israelites that was in the provinces of the Medes and Persians would be delivered from this evil plot by Haman, the Agagite, from the bloodline of the Amalekites, the grandson of Esau. Esau is the so-called white man, woman, boy, and girl. The addition to Esther 10, verse 9, and it reads, and my nation is this Israel, which cried to Yahweh and were saved. For Yahweh had saved his people, and Yahweh had delivered us from all those evils. And Yahweh had wrought signs and great wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles, the other 17 nations. We read in the book of Jubilee that Yahweh put spirits over the other 17 nations, my brothers, my sisters, to keep them away from him. We read that. So if the spirits kept them away from him, who is that tried to sever the relationship between Yahweh and his people? None other than Satan the devil. Addition to Esther 10, verse 10. Therefore he made two lots, one for the people of Yahweh of the children of Israel, and another for all the nations. So he separated Israel from all of the other nations, my brothers, my sisters, my people. We done brought that out before, but time is winding down, so I want to continue on this line, but we deal with, well, my hands are tied. What can I say? I got to go grab me some Leviticus, right? Is that Leviticus I need? I wanted to grab me some Leviticus chapter 19, I believe, or is it 20? Turn to Leviticus chapter 20. Let's see if we can pull out the fact that Yahweh separated the children of Israel from all of the other 17 nations. Let me see if I can pull that information out. Even though time is winding down, we gotta roll the way this thing is rolling out. My brothers, I want to find a statement about who separated the children of Israel from the other nations. So we want to run to the book of Leviticus chapter 20, and we're going to pick it up at verse number 23. Leviticus 20, verse 23, and it reads, And ye shall not walk in the manner of the nations, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. So the 7 nations that Yahweh cast out from the bloodline of the Canaanites, which are from the bloodline of their father Ham. Ham will be known today as the so-called Africans, my brothers. So Yahweh saying that what them Africans got going on, I don't want you associating with, right? And you shall not walk in the manner of the nation, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. So Esau ain't the only one he got problems with. My brother, he got problems with the so-called Africans, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Leviticus 20, verse 24. But I said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I'm Yahweh, your Yahweh, which have separated you from other peoples. See it in black and white there? You shall therefore put differences between clean beasts, unclean, between unclean fowls and clean. You shall not make your souls abominable by beasts, or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. Verse 26, and you shall be righteous unto me, for I Yahweh am righteous, and have served you from other peoples, that you should be mine. We read that in the book of Jubilee, right? He said that he created many nations but he didn't suffer them to approach unto him. He set spirits over them to keep them away from him. But let's look at this feast day. Let's go back to that Esther. The addition to Esther, chapter 10, verse number 11. And these two lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before Yahweh among all nations. Now this event going to take place in the near future. Yahweh is going to separate those that are keeping his statute, laws, and commandments. He's going to give his angel charge over them. Let's read that. Let's read that, my brothers. We got to read everything. We can't leave my opinion on the table. Psalm chapter 91. We're going to pick it up at verse number 1. Book of Psalm 91. We want to peep at verse number 1. Can't leave my opinion, my words on the table. We got to bring forth Yahweh. That's what he told Ezekiel. That's what he told Jeremiah. The words that I have spoken to you, write in a book. Psalm 91 verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High Yahweh. The secret place of the Most High Yahweh is those that are operating according to his statute, laws, and his commandments. Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So you want to be protected by the Almighty. You better be about keeping his statute, laws, and commandments, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Verse number 2, and it reads, when doomsday approaches, because Yahweh is in the midst of gathering all nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat as we speak. Psalm 91 verse 2. I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress. My Yahweh, in him will I trust. Verse number 3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Verse 4. And it reads, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler, my brothers. So what is his truth that's going to be your shield and buckler? Well, the shield, you know, you use that to protect yourself. And the buckler, that's what you pull out your sword up out of to defend yourself, my brothers, my sisters. So Yahweh say his truth is going to be your shield and buckler. So we need to find out for sure, what is this truth that's going to be our shield and buckler. We're going to go to Psalm 119, verse number 142. Psalm 119, verse 142, and it reads, Book of Psalm 119, verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth, my brothers, my sisters. So what's going to be our shield and buckler? The keeping of Yahweh's statute, laws, and his commandments. Let's go back to that Psalm 91 now, my brothers, my sisters. Psalms 91. Let's peep at verse number 4. Psalm 91, we're going to pick it up at, let's go back to 3. Let's put that back on the table. Psalm 91, verse 3, and it reads, Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, and from the noisome pestilence. Verse number 4, he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth, his statute, laws, and commandments. That's what's going to deliver us, my brothers. The keeping of his statute, laws, and commandments. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. Let's hold that. I want to run to Judith. I made a statement that I got to prove, right? That the keeping of his commandments will deliver us. We're going to run to the Apocrypha. Let me see where we want to run to the book of Judith in the Apocrypha. The book of Judith, chapter 5. The book of Judith, chapter 5. My brothers, we want to pick it up at around about verse number 17. Book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 17. And it reads, and while they sin not, right to the point, before their Yahweh, they prospered, because Yahweh that hateth iniquity, sin, was with them. Verse number 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captive into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their power, Yahweh, was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. And we read that this guy called Haman, the Agagite, from the bloodline of the Amalekites, the grandson of Esau, came up with a plot because he Mordecai wouldn't bow down and reverence him, right? That's what we read here, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Let's get back to this thing. We're going to get back to that addition to Esther, chapter 10, verse 11. We might have to close out with this one, but we're going to pick it back up on tomorrow class, Shabbat class, Sabbath class. It's on Saturday, and it starts around 2 p.m., my brothers, my sisters. And these two lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before Yahweh among all nations. So Yahweh is going to gather all nations again, my brothers, my sisters. Verse number 12. So Yahweh remembered his people and justified his inheritance. He didn't justify all of the 17 nations. He justified his inheritance. And according to Scripture, his inheritance, let's read that. We're going to go to the book of, where's that at? Sirach. Ecclesiasticus 24. Let's see if we can pull that out. Who is his inheritance that he is going to justify? Let me see if I can pull it out with the quickness. In the book of Sirach, chapter 24, I want to get down to who is his inheritance. I want to hear it plain as can be. In the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 24, verse 23, it reads, all these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High Yahweh, even the law which Moses commanded for a heritage unto the congregation of Israel. Now that just didn't say what I needed to say. So let me see if I can make it a little bit more clear. In the book of Ecclesiasticus 17, and we're going to pick it up at about verse 17 again. Let's see if we can make it a little bit more clear who is his inheritance. Sirach, chapter 17, verse 17. For the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is Yahweh's portion. Verse number 18. Whom being his firstborn, he nourishes with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, does not forsake him. Verse number, let me see, blew the mission here. I want to get that terminology, his inheritance, on the table in the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 17. Let me see if I done bypass what I need here. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 17. It ain't what I need, but sounded good. I want to get him saying that Israel is his inheritance. Well, I can get it somewhere else, I can grab it in Deuteronomy. Let's grab it in Deuteronomy 32. I want to hear that phrase, Israel is Yahweh's. We read there that Israel is his portion. We read in the Jubilee, Israel is his people. But I want to read where he say that Israel is his inheritance. And I believe I can grab it in the book of Deuteronomy 32. Let's peep at that. Deuteronomy. If I can't grab it there, then I'm going to have to put that one on hold. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32. We're going to pick it up at verse number 7. Book of Deuteronomy 32, verse 7. And it reads, Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. Verse number 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Verse number 9. For Yahweh's portion is his people. Israel is the lot of his inheritance. We're going to get it one way or another now. We got work to do, my brothers, my sisters. I want to go back to that addition to Esther now. Chapter 13. Well, let's pick it back up at 12. So Yahweh remembered his people and justified his inheritance. And we found out who his inheritance was by name. The 12 tribes of Israel. Verse number 13. That for those days shall be unto them in the month Adar. Now we found out that the month Adar is the 12th month. And the 12th month of the Shemitic Hebrew calendar is equivalent to what we know as the month of March. The 14th and the 15th day of the same month with an assembly. So we have a assembly and joy and with gladness before Yahweh according to the generations forever among his people. Verse number, well, I guess that's the end of that. I'm getting stirred up. But we're going to get ready to conclude this. My brothers, my sisters, it's been a blast. I love bringing this. But I want to finish this Psalms 91 verse number 4. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. So what's going to be our shield and buckler is the keeping of his statute laws and his commandments. Verse number 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day. What is it talking about here? Well, in a minute, my brothers, you know what's going on over there in amongst the Russians and the Ukrainians. I guess that's the way you pronounce it. You see all those missiles flying through the air? They known here as arrows. My brothers, my sisters, my people, Yahweh is getting ready to bring this thing to a conclusion. And he's getting ready to draw all nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And there will he judge them. Psalm 91 verse 6. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Well, what is these pestilence? Pestilence is walking in darkness. These are the wicked ministering spirits. Wicked angels, my brothers. Nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Verse number 7. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Why not? Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold, and see the reward of the wicked. The wicked is all those that are gearing up for Valentine's Day. My brothers, my sisters, that is a pagan holiday. We read that it's in worship of some type of deity. I believe he said, I remember Pan and some other deity. My brother pointed out to us, but I don't forget that name. But I'm gonna rehearse it. I'm gonna go back and check it out. Psalm 91 verse 9. Because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, your habitation. Verse number 10 reads, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwellings. Verse 11, for he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. So according to the addition to Esther, chapter 10, verse number, what was that? Verse number 13, was it? Let's go back and read that again. The addition to Esther, I want to reread that. Let me see if I still got it on the docket. The addition to Esther. Did I mess up here? I would. I don't see it here. So I'm going to have to go back to it. The addition to Esther, my brothers, my sister. Not the Ecclesiasticus. I want the addition. Where is it at? Addition to Esther, chapter 10. And we want to look, chapter 10, we want to look right at that last verse. Well, let's pick it up at verse number 11. The addition to Esther, chapter 10, verse number 11. And these two lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before Yahweh among all nations. Verse number 12. So Yahweh remembered his people and justified his inheritance. His inheritance of those are the children of Israel that are keeping his statute laws and his commandments. Verse number 13 reads, therefore those days shall be unto them in the month Adar, the 14th and the 15th day of the same month, with an assembly and joy and with gladness before Yahweh, according to the generations forever amongst his people. So the 14th and 15th of the month Adar will be the feast of Purim, celebrating the deliverance of our people. My brothers, my sisters, my people. That's what Purim is in reference to, our deliverance from Haman's plot to destroy all of us. The Most High spoiled that plan. But I am Brother Yagda Israel from the fourth side of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. And I want to say to the 12 tribes of Israel that scattered to the four corners of the globe, Yahweh be with you, and Yahweh bless you. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat, shalom. Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be?
often a vision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be when I'm reading the righteous scriptures and the Most High Yahweh? He's in His Holy Spirit to lead and guide me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? Can you envision? Oh, well, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you imagine a place where we can truly be free? Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? I just let my imagination run free. There will be no more Jim Crow, that's for sure. We're landed will no longer be. There will be no more strange fruit hanging from the popular tree. You know the first will be last, and the last shall be first. Can you picture that? The road of Esau and Jacob, Israel shall be reversed. Can you envision? Oh, I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you imagine a place where we can truly be free? Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? I just let my imagination run free. There will be no more Jim Crow, that's for sure. We're landed will no longer be. There will be no more strange fruit hanging from the popular tree. You know the first will be last, and the last shall be first. Can you picture that? The road of Esau and Jacob, Israel shall be reversed. Can you envision?